Hello, and welcome to Math Meets Literacy Week 10. I am Mrs. Crawley. Before we begin today's lesson, I want to give a huge shout out to all of the third graders who joined us for Math Meets Literacy. You all are awesome rising fourth graders. What will you be able to do after completing today's lesson? You will be able to identify and extend patterns and tables of ordered pairs involving multiplication, addition, or subtraction. What do I need? I need a focus for my learning. Today's focus question: how can you find the rule for a pattern or table and use that rule to complete the pattern or table? For today's lesson, you will need today's lesson handout, something to write with, crayons, markers, or colored pencils. If you are unable to get today's handout, of course, use a piece of paper and work with Mrs. Crawley. Our story for today is Same Old Horse. Hanky, our main character, is very predictable and does not like being predictable and teased by his friends. He decides it's time to change. Let's see what happens to Hanky in Same Old Horse. Did you enjoy today's story? I really did. I like how Hanky realized that he didn't need to change and that he was awesome being himself and that others don't matter. What they think of him didn't really matter. Only what he thought of himself. Let's go over this week's vocabulary before we solve it. Pattern, a series or sequence that repeats. A repeating pattern repeats themselves over and over again according to a certain rule. A growing pattern is a pattern that increases or grows according to a certain rule. Input and output rules are math operations that have to be followed to get the correct sets of numbers for your input or output table. Are we ready to solve it? Yes, we are. Our first solve it problem. Use the table below to explain how Jazz and Majesty knew the exact time Hanky would leave the stable. So what I would like you to do is pause the video right here and write your answer. Remember to explain your thinking. Once you have your answer, continue the video. Welcome back. Well, let's see how we can solve this problem. How can we identify the pattern? So on Monday, Susan arrived at 9:15 a.m. Hanky left the stable at 10:15 a.m. On Tuesday, Susan arrived at 9 a.m. and Hanky left the stable at 10 a.m. On Wednesday, Susan arrived at 9:30 and Hanky left the stable at 10:30. And as I look at the rest of the table, it seems like Hanky leaves the stable 1 hour after Susan arrives. So Jazz and Majesty observed when Susan arrived and when Hanky would leave the stable for a week. And they realized that there was 1 hour between when Susan arrived and when Hanky would leave the stable. So they found the pattern. And so I'm going to write this right. I'm going to write the pattern. Hanky leaves stable 1 hour after Susan arrives. Great job. So when we are identifying patterns, we have to make some observations. We have to observe. Our second solve it. Jazz predicted Hanky would wear his blue saddle pad on week 6. What color saddle pad will Hanky wear on week 9? Use the table below. So here, you're going to pause and you're going to write your answer. Remember to explain your thinking. Once you have your answer, continue the video. Do you have your answer? Well, let's use the table. See, on week 1, he wore his red pad. Week 2, he wore his blue pad. Week 3, red pad. Week 4, blue pad. Week 5, red pad. Week 6, blue pad. I'm seeing a pattern. Red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. So I can finish the table. So I know this is red. Week 8 will be blue. So week 9 will be red. The pattern repeats itself. Did you get that answer too? I know you did. My awesome rising fourth graders. Solve it number 3. The table below shows the number of hay bales that must be ordered for different numbers of horses. How many bales of hay need to be ordered for 6 horses? Fill in the empty box and write the rule. So here you're going to have to find the rule. I'm going to give you a hint. If you look at the table will show you the rule. You're going to pause here and you're going to write your answer. Remember to explain your thinking. Once you have your answer, continue the video. Did you find the rule? Let's go to the table. 2 horses will need 4 bales of hay. 4 horses will need 8 bales of hay. And I see that 8 horses will need 16 bales of hay. So let's see. If I look here, it seems to me, I see different patterns. And I see that 2 horses will need 4 bales of hay. So 2 plus 2 is 4. So 4 horses will need 8 bales of hay, and I know that 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 horses will need 16 bales of hay, and I know that 8 plus 8 is 16. And I know that repeated addition is multiplication. Multiplication is repeated addition, so I could do it a little easier and say that 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So I can say, let's see, times 2. My rule could be times 2, multiply by 2. And if I do that, 6 times 2 is, 12. Let's see. Right, it's 12. Let me make sure. Before I write my rule, let's see. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 6 times 2 is 12, and 8 times 2 is 16. So yeah, it seems like that rule. Let's see, first I'm gonna do, right? Times 2 equals 12. And so that's how I got 12. So my rule is, let's see. Multiply by 2, right? Or here's another way to say it. Let's see. 4 times 2. Did you get that? Did you find that pattern? And maybe you came to your answer a different way. Maybe you saw that you were, let's see, counting by 4s at the bales of hay. You said 4, 8, 12, 16. Maybe that's how you found it. If you can explain your thinking and your answer, then you've done a great job. So we solved it. We did an excellent job today. So let's extend our thinking. This week, you will create and illustrate a front cover for your favorite Math Meets Literacy book. Be sure the book's math focus is included in your illustration. Have fun and be creative. You will add this week's focus and extend your thinking responses to our third grade Flipgrid. You can use the QR code here or the link. Remember to share your solutions, sketches, and written responses. I've enjoyed my time with you, and I want you to do something for me before we end our lesson. I want you to point to yourself, and I want you to say, I am special, I am loved, I matter.